9 months has passed. And so if you had any such thing as that on your credit report, then you definitely need to look into it to make sure that those things are off your credit report. So no, your city, your county cannot place things on your credit report that you didn't have an agreement with. So that probably encompasses a whole bunch of other things as well. But that's definitely one of the examples that I wanted to get to you, so you know that you can't have those things. Sometimes you get a ticket, you get a parking ticket, parking violation, and you don't pay it. They were placing those things on people's credit report. That's no longer the case. That's not something that you signed up for, like the examples that I gave you with cable or a cell phone or something like that. So that's not going to be on your credit report anymore at all. Now, one of the biggest things to me, even if you get your car towed. So let's take that example, because people get their cars towed all the time, especially if you're in a big city, like Chicago or something. You get your car towed, it goes to some tow lot, and it may not be associated with the city. Oftentimes, it's not associated with the city. They send it to somebody's that private company that owns a tow lot, and it's sitting there, and then your fees start to stack up. So what would happen is that if you didn't go and pay it or what have you, then you couldn't get your car out. So you had a car and you was like, hey, forget it. There's nothing I can do about it. The fees are more than the car costs, and you just left it there. Oftentimes, they would come after you and they would sue you, and that would be on your credit report. You did not agree for them to go ahead and tow your car and hold on to it. So it's sitting in somebody's tow yard. That cannot go on your credit report anymore at all. So some people have had that issue. I've had one client that had that issue, and now that is off of their credit report. So that's something good. I want to skip to something that's before I do that, I got to do a shout out, and we need to do the question of the day, because we're past the halfway point of the show as it is. So I got to shout out Rodney Robinson. Rodney Robinson celebrates a birthday today. So happy birthday to you, Rodney Robinson, a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, the Alpha chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi. So happy birthday to you, brother Rodney Robinson. May you have many, many more. All right, so let's jump to the question of the day, people. Let's get to that. And of course, the question, excuse me. Of course, the question of the day is brought to you by none other than Cute as a Cupcake, the Cupcakery and Bake Shop, where the cupcakes are more than just cute, they're delicious. Cute as a Cupcake is located at 2008 West 81st in Maryville, Indiana. Again, that's 2008 West 81st in Maryville, Indiana. Get by Cute as a Cupcake and tell them that the 800 credit score man sent you. And actually, I'm going by Cute as a Cupcake today. I'm going to be in the area right after the show. So look forward. I'm looking forward to going in there and getting me some cupcakes right there in Maryville, Indiana, 2008 West 81st. Cute as a Cupcake, the Cupcakery and Bake Shop. All right, so the question of the day comes from Jason. And I don't know exactly where Jason is from. Jason emailed me. And by the way, of course, you can always email me at 800creditscoreman@gmail.com. That's 800creditscoreman@gmail.com. You can email me there and ask me questions. You may become a part of the show, the 800 Credit Score Man show, by asking a question, and I may use it on the air. So this question comes from Jason. Again, I don't know where he's from. So when I don't know where somebody's from, what do? We just pick a place. So we're going to say Jason is from Turks and Caicos. And if you don't know where Turks and Caicos is, get to know where Turks and Caicos is. I just went and I just came back, and it is absolutely beautiful on that island for sure. So Jason from Turks and Caicos, he says, thank you for having a nice show for the benefit of the people. So you're very much welcome. Thank you very much for the compliment, Jason. My question is, I'm in the process of buying a home, and I just locked in my interest rate. My question is, will the mortgage lender pull my credit again before I close on the house? If so, and my credit score is higher at the time, will I get a better mortgage interest rate? Jason, this is a very excellent question. Very good question. All right. So you said that you're about to buy a home. You already locked in your rate with your mortgage lender, and you want to know if they're going to pull another credit report on you first, and then also, if they do, will you get a better interest rate if your score goes up in between the time? Well, last week I think I mentioned that not all mortgage lenders are created equal. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that when I talked about the question of the day from last week when Michelle from Illinois asked about, should she contact, me first, or should she contact her mortgage lender when she's, starting the process. So here's what happens with that. If your mortgage lender is, is extremely ethical and looking out for the customer's best interest, then you should get a better interest rate when they go back and look at your credit if your score is up. And it's probably got to be up significant, or if you were like on the borderline before, when they first pulled your credit, and then now, you were just, say you were just 10 or 8 points away from, getting a better rate with them, whatever that number is. Then if you got that number, then absolutely they should go ahead and give you a better interest rate. But here's what happens oftentimes. So you locked yours in. You mentioned you locked your interest rate in. And when you lock your interest rate in, that's where you are. You are locked in. So you're basically, when your mortgage lender comes to you and says, I think you ought to lock your rate in, basically they're saying to you, the rate could go up. So you want to lock your rate in now because you don't want to get a higher rate when we finally close on this loan. So that's what they're saying to you then. But they're really not saying that, hey, if the rate goes down, we're going to help you out and we're going to, take that quarter of a percent point, that quarter of a percent off. They're not saying that. You're locked in. Now, of course, you can always counsel on a lender or whatever it is you want to do. You can threaten to do so if they don't adjust it. But really, most of the times, you don't know if that particular rate at that particular company has gone up or down anyway. You're basically taking their word that it did go up or it didn't go up. So if you're locked in, absolutely you can do that. Now, if you talk to your lender at the beginning time, or you take the risk and say, I'm not going to lock my rate in, I'll just take my chances. And when it comes down to it, they will pull another credit report on you, especially if it's been a long time. So you went in, you got pre-approved before you even looked at a house. Some houses or some homeowners want to see a pre-approval. Make sure that you're actually have the approval by a bank that you can buy this home if you come and look at it. So if you have that and this is your first time looking at the home, and so it might take a while for you to actually find a home. If it's been a couple of months, 3 months, definitely if it's like a 4-month process, they're going to pull another credit report on you. So what are they looking for? They're looking to see if you went out and did anything else with your credit, or anything came on your credit that could negatively affect it. So if you had went before, we talked about judgments, earlier in the show, if you had a judgment or something pop up on your credit, that would definitely pull your credit score down, might put you in a different category. So they were looking for things like that, and they would continue to do so. Now, if they look and your credit score is the same, or you had a little bump, typically they won't say, hey, you got a good bump, we're going to lower your interest rate. It doesn't typically happen that way. But what you can do, you can request from your lender. You can request from your lender when they pull that second credit report for them to evaluate your credit. Again, especially if you know that maybe you worked on some stuff. You didn't come to a person like me first. You went into the mortgage lender and they said, you have these 3 items on your credit report. One of them we're not going to worry about, but the other 2 we need you to clear up. And so you cleared those things up, and now it's been, a month, 2 months. You're going to get a significant, well, not significant necessarily, but you should get a bump in your credit score. And you get that bump in your credit score, then you want to ask your lender to reevaluate your credit score. And if they do the recalculation for you and your score goes up, hopefully they'll honor a better interest rates for you. So Jason from Turks and Caicos, I hope that answers your question. I did answer it to you in email, 800creditscoreman@gmail.com. And I'm pretty sure that it was clear when I answered it to you in email, but I hope it was clear today as well. So, yes, they will pull another credit report on you. And secondly, it depends on the company if they're going to go ahead and give you a better rate if your credit score went up. Now, absolutely, if your credit score went down, they'll give you a worse rate for sure. So it's worth asking if they're going to give you a better rate. So again, thank you, Jason, from Turks and Caicos. I appreciate your email. And please spread the word. Tell your friends, tell your family about the 800 Credit Score Man Show. Today, the question of the day was brought to you by Cute as a Cupcake, the Cupcakery and Bake Shop, where the cupcakes are more than just cute, they're delicious. 2008 West 81st in Maryville, Indiana. Get by Cute as a Cupcake and tell them that the 800 Credit Score Man sent you. All right, so I've been running my mouth a whole lot, and we coming down toward the end of the show. So I shouted out Hector King already for his birthday, and Rodney Robinson for his birthday. I want to shout out Renee Douglas. Renee Douglas is celebrating a birthday coming up this week, so happy birthday, happy early birthday to you, Renee. I want to say congratulations to Anthony and Kayla. They brought home a bouncing baby boy, Anthony Jr. So happy, congratulations to you guys. And then also Patrick Terry is celebrating a birthday or celebrated a birthday already. So happy birthday to you, Patrick Terry Sr. Happy birthday to you, sir. All right, so let's jump into some other things that went into effect a while ago that, of course, is helping out your credit score. So we talked about them not being able to place things on your credit report if you didn't sign up for it, right? So this one is really huge. So your medical collections. Listen, people, a lot of people have medical collections. I think bankruptcies, most people file bankruptcy not because they overextended themselves, but because of medical collections. They just couldn't pay those bills. So this is something that's huge. So initially, the thought was that they were going to remove your medical collections off of your credit report once you paid them. It looked like they were never there. It's not necessarily the thought process or what's actually happening. What's actually happening is this. If you make your payment on your collection and you get it down to zero, and of course I always suggest that you negotiate. Maybe you can get some money off, maybe you can't. But this is really big. When you get that bad boy down to zero, then even though it'll show on your credit report for the next 7 years, it'll show zero or paid or settled, it's no longer going to be a factor in determining your credit report, your credit score, So it's no longer going to be a factor for you. So if you had medical collections and you was three of them, one was $20, one was $2,000, and one was $100, and you paid all three of those, and now there's zero, it's definitely going to give you a bump in your credit score. So just imagine all of these negative items that I've been talking about that hit your credit score. Now they will be in your favor when it comes to boosting your credit score just by getting those things off, or they falling off automatically, falling off your credit report. So it's very big with this whole medical collection thing. If you can get those bad boys paid off, you can get them down to zero, it's no longer going to affect your credit score. So if you have that on your credit report, and that's one of the things that's definitely holding you back, it would be well worth getting to those things and making those payments to pay them off. It might be worth more if you were to do that versus, let's say, trying to pay down your credit card debt to get it to under 30%. It might be worth more points if you were to make sure that those medical collections are taken care of on your credit report. Let me throw this one in here as well. So, of course, they want they call themselves making it easier to report errors on your credit report. So they made it easier for you to report those errors. You can go to any of those 3 credit bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, or Experian, directly to them, and you can file a dispute online. So all you do is click a couple buttons and you're good. And they get 30 days to evaluate it. So that made it easier. They also allowed you to get a second free credit report as well. So you go to www.annualcreditreport.com. If you filed a dispute, if you found an error or what have you, you can get a second credit report for free. That was part of that as well. And again, it's annualcreditreport.com. That's www.annualcreditreport.com. They also made the 3 major credit bureaus start some I guess